Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jacob and today I'm going to do a tutorial on blueprint referencing, casting, blueprint communication, all that stuff. Basically, how to get access variables from another blueprint or call events, functions, all that good stuff. A few things I want to say before we begin. The first thing is, I lost my train of thought. But I've been using blueprints for over 2 years. And casting and getting references, that was for me the hardest thing to learn. And the thing that makes it worse is that, or harder basically, is that I couldn't find any videos on YouTube, no documentation, nothing in the forums other than just cast. That's basically all I got. And I want to apologize because I wanted to do this like months ago. I never did, and now I'm gonna do it. Hopefully, for this is more aimed towards new users to the engine who want to learn blueprint, or maybe just curious, or maybe even if you just want to see if there's some tricks you don't know about that you could use. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you, but two things. First of all, since we're mainly going to be using this folder, I'm going to set the color to be blue. And if you didn't know, you can change color on folders. Well, now you know. And the other thing is, I have a map to alignment to straighten the connection. So if you see me doing that, yeah, I'm pressing A. You can do, there's a shortcuts. You just search for, I think it's not called alignment. It's called something else. I keep forgetting the name. But you basically just search for it, and then it'll have like a hotkey right here, and then you just, you assign it and whatever. I also have F set to functions. Well, that's a delay, so it's not going to let me do that. But F2 function, as a shortcut, it actually comes in handy. So without further ado, let me begin this tutorial. Oh, one more thing. Hopefully this isn't too long. I can blab on for forever, and another tutorial I did was like 2 hours long. So yeah, I'm gonna try and keep this really short. Speaking of which, I'm actually gonna set a timer on my phone really quickly. I apologize. This is very unprofessional, but okay, there we go. Now, so I have these two actors called Cone. Let me open up the folder. Called Cone Guy and Cube. No. Oh, they're both Guy. That's not right. This should be Cone Dude. Sorry about that. I guess I named that wrong. Anyway, so Cone Dude and Cube Guy. So we have an event in each of them. So let me show you. This is the cone. So I'm going to show you it really quickly, what the event is, just so you know. He explodes, and then the same thing with the cube. Undo this really quickly. Pilot, play it, and there you go. So now you know what the events are. Now I can show you. We can go over how to access them from other blueprint. So we'll start off with the cube guy. So I'm going to move this up out of the way. So let's say, okay, whoops, my mouse will kind of lag there. So you can auto receive input to basically automatically get input, as I basically do this as like a cheat. So you can do that. So I'll make it the space key as basically debugging or whatever. So if you're new, like I was, you're gonna just think that you can just type in the event, which was called, this is called cube event, right? So you type it in, cube event, and cone event. Sorry about that, cone event. I was wondering why I was showing up. You're gonna type in cone event, and then you're gonna see nothing. Then you uncheck context sensitivity, because maybe you were like me and you didn't really understand what that is. And what it is basically means it's just telling you the events, or not the events. Well, yeah, the events you can call functions that you were able to call in this class. Is basically what it means. So if you're like me, you're gonna uncheck it, wonder why you had to uncheck it. You're going to, plug it in, hit compile, and then you're gonna get an error, and you're gonna wonder what this is. When it says self is basically it's basically not sure which how do I explain this? Which blueprint you're talking to. What the heck? Oh, compiler. That's fine. Okay. So, sorry if this isn't going that well, but you're going to get this error. You're going to wonder, well, what is this? And maybe if you're like me, you might, cheat, promote it to a variable. I'm not going to name it. Right. And then you're going to, okay, the error went away. Let me press play, space, and, well, nothing's happening. Hit escape, and you're going to get this error. And I pressed it 4 times. That's why it comes up 4 times. But you're going to get this access none, trying to read property from the variable name, which I didn't name it. I probably should have named it. And it's going to give you all this other jargon. And what it means is there is nothing in this variable. It does not know what you're talking about, what actor you're talking about. And I'm going to rename this really quickly. I hate it when that happens. We're going to just call this cone ref. I'm going to go over that in a second. Now, just because I named it does not mean it's going to work. Basically, there's nothing. There's nothing in this variable. It does not know what you're talking about. So a little trick you can do is you can make it editable, compile it, and okay. Well, actually, first let me show you something. You can do this as a shortcut, promote to a variable. But if not, you're gonna have to add a variable. I'm not gonna name it again, and then you're gonna have to search for the name or the actor or a blueprint you want to communicate with, which is ConeDude. So we'll type in ConeDude. You're going to get this. You're going to get a reference, class, and then these two, which I have no idea what they do. I've never used them before, but you're going to want to use object reference. I'm going to delete it because we don't need it. But like I said, you go ahead and you make it editable or click this eye, and you come out here, and you're going to get this. And what you need to do is you click on this, and whichever class you want to communicate with, you select it, and it automatically does that. Now, if we hit play and we hit space, there it is. It explodes. The event worked, and there's no errors. Now, the thing is, you might be kind of wondering, well, why? I'm going to reset this. Well, why do I have to do that? Why can't, it just know which one I'm talking about? And let me ask you a question. What if there was 2 of them in the level? The engine isn't going to know what you're talking about, which one you're talking about. But if you, manually select it through, I usually call this level referencing. That's not what it's supposed to be called, but, because it goes through the level. No, it's not. Never mind. Never forget what I just said. But anyway, so you can select which. Man, I'm losing my train of thought again. Sorry about that. Where was I? Yeah, so you use this to select which one you want to call the event on. So if I select this one, press play, space, it's going to work. So I'm going to reset this to default. And that's the first way, one of the basic ways. Now, there's another way you can do this, and I'm going to quickly uncheck consume input because that's going to cause a bunch of problems and disconnect this. So if we go to the level blueprint, and we also do that space. Now, what you can also do is, I'm going to delete this, select it. You have to make sure it's selected, whichever actor or blueprint, I keep calling it actor, but blueprint that you want to call the event or get the variable from or whatever, which I can show you really quickly. You know what? Let me do that. What am I on? ConeDude. So we'll have this. We'll just call this, I guess, bool, because that's Boolean. That's basically what it is. So compile and save. And if you want to, now that you have this variable, every instance of ConeDude, as this blueprint is called, is going to have that variable. So if we search for bool and check context sensitivity, it's not going to show up for some reason. Why is that? That's weird. Oh, there it is. So you can get it, if you want to get it or set it. Here it is. And there you go, just really quickly. But I'm pretty sure if you I'm pretty sure you guys already know how to do that. It's just getting referencing and casting you guys aren't aware of. But anyway, as I was saying, what you can do with the blueprint is you can select whichever actor or blueprint you want to communicate with, left click, and you have this create reference to CubeDude. So you select that, and now we can call that event. Cube, what did I name that? Boy. Cone event? Cone event. Okay. So, well, I guess that's something I have a problem with. I make event names and then I forget them and then I can't find them. But that's CubeDude. Yeah, that should be fine. So we press space and it explodes. So there we go. That's, two methods which I usually refer to as level referencing. You're basically going through the level because the level basically knows I don't know how to explain this, but it has a reference to every single actor or object in that level, so it's gonna know which one you're talking about. Now the other thing is if you have two, you just make sure you have the other one selected, and then it should be have like a 2 at the end. Basically, it just means the second one because they can't have the same name, otherwise it causes problems. Delete this file, save, and we'll move on to the next method of referencing, which I have a notepad right here. Let's see what was next. Okay, now another way to do this is we'll go ahead and erase this, and I'll leave that variable for right now. Another way, delete this, is we can use a get all actors of class. Make sure it's actors, not widgets, because I keep doing that a lot, but actors of class, and it wants to know which class you're speaking or talking about. We're talking about, once again, Cone Dude. So we're going to type in Cone Dude, and it comes up, and you're going to get this array. And if you're new, like I was, you're not going to know what to do. Simply just do a get. And basically, arrays are very useful. If you're new, don't really worry about arrays right now, but I will say that they are very useful and you're probably going to end up using them a lot, but don't worry about it. You'll get the hang of it later on. So we want to get it. So basically getting the first index and of that array, because it's going through the level and getting every single actor or instance of this actor and returning it to you. Now it does warn you that it's slow, so this is why I strongly recommend you do not use this. I'm just using this as an example. I would only use this for a quick debug if you don't want to go through the trouble of making a variable and exposing it and all that, or maybe you can't expose it on spawn because it's a widget. So what you do is we want that event, which was cone event. Oh, no, that's not what we want to do. Sorry about that. Actually, what we want to do, well, you can do that, which I guess I can show you right now. But all it's going to do is it's just going to play the play out event. So I'll just show you really quickly. I'm pretty sure you already know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's just going to explode. But what you really might want to do is promote it to a variable. Now, you left click promote to a variable as a shortcut, but I already have it right here. Good thing I didn't delete it. So we're just going to go ahead, set it, and then when we click space, we can pull this out. Now we have access to it. And what we want is cone event. I keep forgetting, but cone event. So we'll try this out, see if it works, which it will. And there we go. That's another way you can use get all actors of class with a get node, and then I recommend promoting to a variable and all that. Now, really quickly, what I'm going to say is once again, if there is two, basically, if you want to get the first one, it's basically 0. How it works is it counts from 0 to 1. So 0 is 1, and then 1 is 2, basically. It's kind of confusing. Geez, I cannot talk. Confused me forever, but there you go. So now if you want to access the other one, you would just put in 1, which is the next index, and then you press play, press space, and there you go. Now the other thing, really quickly, I'm going to show you is you can do a for each loop. Just type in 4 and it basically automatically comes up. And what this is it goes through the array, gives you the reference that you're looking for, and you can do whatever you want. So we can call that event, cone event, plug it in, and when we start, both of them will explode. And there you go. You can use that. I'll go ahead and erase this. So there we go. That's, another way you can get references and all that good stuff. Now to get into the fun part, which is casting. Now, this is really what stumbled me when I was doing. I know I keep bringing this up. Sorry about that, but so now I'm trying to think about how I could set this up. So what you might do is you might do, cast to cone dude, because that's the blueprint we want to access, right? Remember, we have this event, and you might just pull in the object or the reference, and okay, cool, it's working. Hit compile, and then you get an error. And if you're like me, you're going to have no idea what this is. But the object is basically what it's going to use to check in the engine to make sure it's a cone dude. And that might be really confusing, but I'm going to bring up more examples of this later in this video. It can help you out. But basically, casting is used for two things: getting references and making sure it's a cone dude. And yeah, that's basically what it is. So if you might type in get character, player character, and then you get a warning that doesn't inherit. And if we hit play, well, that didn't work. But yeah, if we hit play, nothing's gonna happen. And oops, what is going on here? By the way, I'm going to go ahead and delete this once again. So yeah, you see nothing happened, right? And you're gonna, well, shouldn't it at least fire? Well, that's what this cast fails is. So if we do a print string called failed, and we press play, we're gonna see that failed, which means it failed. The cast, it did not inherit, so it failed. And I think they put this here, so you can avoid errors. So like if we, forced it to run that function or event, nothing's going to happen, and you're going to get an error access none once again, which, like I said, means it doesn't know what you're talking about. Basically, is basically what it's saying. So how would we get this to work, right? You want to cast to it. Well, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do it this way. You cannot, if you want to get a reference, at least from my knowledge, you cannot just do a cast, because there can be literally thousands of this instance in the level, and it's not going to know which one you're talking about. But, you can use this to cast to the character. So let me go back to the character as an example. Well, I could do the game mode. I'll do the game mode. Or you know what? No, I'll do the character. That's probably what people are most familiar with. Go ahead and ignore that. So what if we want to get this variable here called base turn rate? So what you'd have to do is get player character, then you would cast to the name of the class you want to cast to. So which is cast to third person character, and it comes up. And then you can get, whichever, if you want to. So if you wanted to call an event, you would just plug in, type the name of the event, or if you want to get a variable like I'm demonstrating, because there isn't any events in here, I can show you. Just do a simple print string, and I have no idea what this value is, but we're gonna find out. And that didn't work. I wonder why. Well, that's kind of weird. Let me see if did it fail? Huh. Well, that's kind of weird. Oh, okay, okay. I know why. It's because in this blueprint, I have default pawn. I don't have third-person character, so it's not going to work. That's another thing I should mention. So if I set this, save it, we should, yeah, now it's working. And there's no errors. That's basically why. Now I'm going to, that's another thing I should mention. You can't just do this to whatever you want. It has to, basically what the player character does is it checks the game mode, because that's in every single level. It checks to see what character you're on, and then it gives you a reference to cast it, or basically an object, which can be anything. And if you cast to it, so long as the game mode has that class, well, I'm not very good at explaining things, but I hope you understood that. Anyway, okay, so what's next? So that's one way of casting. Like I said, you can't really do that. Now, the next way to cast is, we're not going to need this anymore, so we're not going to be using this blueprint. Well, I'll keep that connected. Let me save it. I'm going to close these out temporarily. And this is also another way of how to get a reference, and I'm going to show you how to cast too. But before I do that, I'm going to show you the other way of referencing. So we have this overlap actor, and by the way, if you left click, go to Asset Actions, Capture Thumbnail, you can get a thumbnail. I do that a lot. So what you can do is delete this, keep this box, left click it, you had Add Event, and Component Begin Overlap. I'm used to it saying Actor Begin, but anyway, we have this. We're just going to do a simple print string when it overlaps. And whoops, let me bring this up a little bit. Select this, possess it, if I can find it. Where is that? That's kind of weird. Let me just search for it. Huh, that is very strange. Oh, I'm in the world settings, no wonder. Okay, so hit complete. This is something I manually put in right here, just so that way it possesses it. Don't worry about that. You're going to learn about that, later on through your life in Unreal Engine, as I'll put it. Now, and that I'm going to put that really quickly. I forgot that is not visible. Let's make this visible. You can go here and set hidden in game to false. So uncheck that, compile, save, press play, and there it is. So if we run into it, it's going to work. And you're going to think, hey, it's working. Everything's right in the engine. Let's move on. But there's a problem with that. And I'm also really quickly going to make this a little bit longer. Now there's a problem. I'm going to show you what this problem is. So we get this cube and set it to be movable so that we get rid of that error. And we're going to put this to simulate physics. Bring that up a little, and we're going to hit play. And it didn't work. What happened? Let me see here. Actor sets to pawn. Maybe that'll work. No? Still not working. I might have to pause this. Why did that not work? Lap. So you can basically disregard this. I don't feel like editing this. Sorry about that, but that is really weird. So okay, well, forget this then. We'll do this the hard way then. So we'll bring in a character. Let's just pretend this is an enemy. Hit play, and that you see that hello? Now it fired, and you might be thinking, well, how is that a problem? Well, what if you only want the character or a certain blueprint, actor, whatever you want to call it, to trigger this event? So what you would do, some other actor, cast to whatever actor or blueprint you want to overlap, you'd cast to it, and this was called third person character, I believe. No, did I misspell that? Yes, I did. Okay, so you put this, And like I said, this is going to make sure it's a character. So if we plug this back in, hit play, and that was a problem. Huh. How funny. Okay, that messed. That was okay. Really quickly, we're gonna duplicate this. I am sorry about this, but we're just gonna call this. I don't know, just player, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not good at naming things. So, okay. Well, now we're bringing the player. Bring him up, and if we play, he's not gonna trigger it because we are casting. So basically, we're asking the engine, is this a third-person character? It's returning no. So if I do another print string, whoops, that says failed, press play, and it's going to say failed because it's not a third-person character. So now, if we, it failed, nothing happened, so we walk into it, there we go, it's going to work. And this is another way you can get a reference. So after this, we can, trying to think if I should make, well, okay. We can get base turn rate, and print it out. So, like I said, I apologize for this video not being very well put together. So, the enemy or player fell in it, which doesn't make any sense. I should name that enemy. But anyway, see, it works. It knows the cast succeeded. You now have a reference to it, and you can promote it to a variable and use it. Go from there, get the information you want or call events, all that jazz. So I'm going to go ahead and I think, let's see. Yeah, I think that's about it. Now we will move on to the next way we can cast. And this time I found it. And I'll go ahead and just leave that there. I'm not going to delete it. But anyway, so now we're back to Cone Guy and Cube Dude, or whatever I name those. Excuse me. So save everything. And let's, okay, what was I going to do? I have a list here. Okay. So now, open Cube Dude. Yeah, we'll do Cone Guy this time because we haven't actually fired the event for Cube Guy. And I misspelled dude. Ha, that's funny. I'm not gonna fix it, whatever. Anyway, so we'll delete this. Okay, now I'm gonna show you another way to get a reference. Now, you can do actor, spawn actor from class. You can search for it, but for me it's really hard to find for some reason. So you can just bring up the palette, go to Windows, palette, bring it up, and it's right here, and you just drag it right on in. So now we're going to do this, and we're going to hit compile, and you're going to get an error. Basically it's saying the class, it can't be none. So what's the class we want to spawn? Actually, hold on really quickly. Let's delete this. I did this backwards, darn it. Oh well. So we'll delete it. So there is nothing in the world. Actually, hold on a second. We want to copy is world location, and you're going to find out why. I'm going to make it quick, called location. Make this into a vector. Compile really quickly, and hopefully this works. Okay, there we go. And I'm still getting that error. So yeah, we'll delete this cube, or cone, if it would let me. Okay. So now we need to select a class. What's a class? Cone. We'll do Cone Dude. Dude, you know what? I'm gonna rename that. That's driving me crazy. I don't know how I misspelled that. How I missed that. Okay, so we have Cone Dude. Now that we specified a class, compile, and we get another error. And it basically, because you're spawning an, it's not a component, it needs to have a transform. So what you can temporarily do is split it, and then it goes away. Now, you might be wondering, well, why am I bringing this up? And we're going to plug in the location to transform location. That was the location of the cone, so that way, it doesn't spawn it at some weird place. So there we go. Now you're going to see this. And this is a reference to this conduit. So we automatically have a reference. We can go ahead and promote it to a variable, and there we go. We have a reference to it. So if we, I probably should stop deleting that. So we have that cone event. Press space. Now you're going to notice that it's just going to appear there. So it was basically spawned. And it hits, there you go. You have a reference to it. Everything is working. And what's going on is when it, if I could find it, when it creates it, it automatically gives you a reference. Now that's one way you can do it. I'm going to show you one other way involving spawning. But this time it's going to be the other way around. So we're going to call this event, cube event, from here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable. And we're going to call it cone ref. Let me check something really quickly. Okay. What you need to do is then you need to search for the blueprint name of what you want to access. How long? 28 minutes. Dang, a long video. And you have the reference to no, not cone. What am I doing? What am I thinking? Is it? No, I'm confused. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is what we want to do. Okay, yeah, never mind. What am I saying? So we're going to have this. We're going to click check editable, and you might think I'm going back to, assigning it to from the level. No. Whoops. All right. I need to do that. I hate it when I do that by accident. No, that is not what we're doing. We also need to check expose on spawn, and you might wonder what that is. So if we go back here, you're going to see, you're obviously going to see nothing. There it is. Okay, so we have this, and whenever you spawn it, that's basically what it means. When you spawn this actor, do you want this variable to be displayed, or it's basically, it's not a great description, but that's basically what it is. So now you have reference to it. Now what you can do, you can type in self, get reference to self. And because we're looking for a cone reference, and this, hold on a second. I feel like I did something backwards. Yeah, what did I do? Now I'm confused. Wow. Cone events. No, this should be cube. No, this should be cube. Sorry about this. Jeez. I'm getting really confused. What happened? Jeez. Hit play really quickly. Yeah, that's still spawning, so. Okay. Now I know what happened. Okay, this actually. Yeah, with this, I keep naming them wrong. That's why I'm getting confused. Okay, cube ref. We'll change this to cube reference. And like I said, it was exposed on spawn, instant editable, and then this comes up. Yeah, you might get this error. Just disconnect it, and then refresh the node, and it goes away. Now we plug it in. Because this is a cube, instance of a cube actor, you can pass it in, which is self, and now when this is created or spawned, the reference, and it's already filled. So what we could do is we have this event, like I said, this event called cube event. So when it begins, we call cube event. Hit play and press play, and there it is. Maybe I should put a delay on that so that way you guys can see what's going on. Instead of event begin play, we'll do a quick delay of 1 second, and this is a mess, so I'll quickly fix that. Pile, press play, and there it is. Because that's basically the magic of expose on spawn. And geez, let me bring this down. And 30 minutes. Wow, what a new record. Anyway, so that's basically the magic or the usefulness of expose on spawn. You don't have to use references. You can expose variables and all that stuff if you want to. It's very useful. So there you go. That's another way of doing it. Now, here's another way in this. Okay, so we've got this. We're going to go ahead and delete it. Now, I'm going to show you another method of basically storing variables. So if you want to get a reference, you don't want to do it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the game mode, go find the game mode, and I'm just going to make a quick variable called what should I name it? Like I said, I'm not going to name any things. We'll just call this vector. Let's just say you want to store a vector because you want to use it for later on. So I'm going to change this to be a vector. Compile it, save it. Or no, that's not what I want to do. I'm so sorry about this, guys. I don't mean we're going to make a cube guy reference. So from the cube guy, so let's say you want to access something from the cone dude, but like I said, you cannot cast to it. You can't really use that method, unless it's overlapping. So what you can do is, since we put this in the game mode, what you can do is at event begin play from the cube guy, you can do a get game mode, and right here, slapping me in the face, and I didn't see it. And we'll cast to it. What was that called? Third person. You can check really quickly to make sure the name is correct. Let's cast to it, and you might be kind of confused. Well, why is he doing this? What's going on? Hold your questions. Let me show you. So now we have that variable on it called, I believe, cube guy. No, vector. I didn't really name it. So we need cube guy ref. Pile and save once again. So now do this. We use the set node. And then what we do is we get a reference to self. Now you still might be a little bit confused as to what's going on. Well, let me show you. Now that we've done that, let's say we want to call the event, but this hasn't been set yet. Cube reference, let me make sure I'm not. Okay, so it's empty, so there's, this isn't going to work by accident or not how I want it to. So what you can do is, I'm going to leave it on delay. What you can do is I'm going to copy this, Control C, Control V, Control V. Oh, that's not working. Okay. Paste it. And now we can get that variable, which was called cube guy. Now we can erase this, plug it right in, and there you go. This is another way, like I said, storing it on another variable. The game mode, the game state, the player controller, all those, you can always cast to them by using these get nodes. And so long as the engine, let me show you really quickly, under maps and modes, so long as all this is set to the correct, class and all of that. So now that we've done that, compile it, hit play, and actually, I need to add this back into the scene. Hit play, and there it goes. The event fired. Because we're storing it, we're at, when it first begins, it's setting a variable inside the game mode, which, every blueprint, every actor can access it by using a cast node. And this will always succeed, like I said, so long as you have the game mode set correctly in your project settings and maps and modes, like I just showed. So that's another way of doing it. Hopefully you understood. There are, let's see, because there's two other ways, and this video is dragging on. Sorry about that. So we'll go ahead and we'll delete this. Compile, save. Man, it's taking a while to compile all of a sudden. And there we go. Now, the other way is a blueprint interface. Now, really quickly, this might not make a lot of sense. Let me bring this up. Forget it. So we're basically, I'm kind of gonna have to cheat, because basically you're supposed to have a reference before doing it, but these aren't really movable, so it's not really, I can't really get a reference. But anyway, so you go to blueprints, blueprint interface, and I'm just gonna call this interface. What you do is you come in here. Whoops, I don't know why it does that. Anyway, So you rename it. I'm just going to call this BP interface event. And you can add some inputs. I'm also going to go over the output in a minute, so if you're confused by that. But anyway, so now we have this event. We can go over and you go into class settings, and you need to implement that interface, which I called interface. Make sure you compile. If you don't compile, it's not going to show up. So you need to compile. Anyway, so then there's two things you can call now that it's basic. Well, actually, you only get the event. You can call it even if it doesn't, implement it. You might not understand that, but you'll get it later on. So now that it has that interface, we can now find that event. Events, we're gonna name it BP. Okay, here it is. It comes up, and you have this event. Now I'm just gonna make it simple. No, actually, we'll go ahead and we'll plug this back in here and delete. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I need this anymore. Delete that. I won't save it this time, so I won't. Okay. Now we have that interface, and basically what it is you can have multiple different types of actors, classes, all that. And as long as it implements it, you can call an event on it. So we have this, this event here from CubeGuy. So what we can do is get rid of this, and we can call that event, which was called, what did I name it? BP interface message. It has to say message. Okay. Then you hit compile, and you're going to get an error again. You need to have a reference, but the reference is a lot easier. You don't need to cast. It can basically be an object. I think it was even, yeah, an object reference, which is basically anything. Everything in this level is basically an object. This is an object. This is an object. This character is an object, but it's a character object, being a little bit more specific there. So now that we have that. So basically how interfaces work is mainly through line traces or overlaps, at least for me. So, but for right now, I'm just going to cheat. I think I still have this. So I'll go ahead, cheat really quickly, and assign it to this guy. Hit play, and there it goes. It worked. It might have been hard to see. I'll redo that. Yeah, there it is. So you can use an interface to do that. Now, there's another thing you can use interfaces for. Is instead of just calling event, you can also get data. So I'm going to make this just an int, and I'm just going to call it value. So it's, basically 0. I don't think you can't set it to have a default value on it. So anyway, so if you want to get, you might not understand this. I'm doing my best to explain it. What happened? What did I do there? No, okay. Since it has an output, it now becomes a function, and you click on it, and it should have a return now. What happened? That's weird. What happened? That is very strange. Check really quickly. Let me close this down and reopen it. And no, it's basically supposed to have a return node, but it's not giving me a return node. So this isn't, I can't see. You see this return node? There's a function on here, and it's supposed to have a return node. Maybe if let me see. Nope, that's not. Let me remove it really quickly. No, I'm not even sure what that does exactly. Interface, compile it, and there we go. Okay, now it's working. We have this value. Basically, it's basically the same thing, but if you want to get a value from any object, you can also do that. So we can, I'm just going to pass in like 101 or whatever that number is. So we pass that in, and we have this. So you might want to get a value from anything for whatever reason. I know I've used it basically for checking, usually for booleans, usually just to check if it has a boolean true or whatever. So if we hit play, we're gonna get that we're going to get that value that we passed in. And that's basically how it works. And I hope you understand this, because I don't understand what I'm saying. So anyway, okay, so the last one is event dispatchers, and then that's it for the video. So let me delete this, and once again, I need to apologize and say sorry about this being a mess. I'm very professional, as you can tell. Done this for a living. Save all. I didn't even need to save. So how do event dispatchers work? So let me check this really quickly. Okay. So how event dispatchers work is you create an event dispatcher, you name it. I'm just gonna call this just event call. Like I said, I'm really bad at naming things, but so you go ahead, you drag this in, and you're gonna get all this nice stuff. Now, before I do that, you can also pass in. You have the signature things. I don't really understand. It always crashes when I select it, so I'm not gonna do that. But you know, pass in integers and all those values if you wish. I'm not going to do that, but what you can do is event begin play. You can call it, and it's going to call, and basically anything that's bound to it, which I'm going to show in a minute, will get that event. So on here, we can have that event. What we can do is we need a reference. Basically, you have to have a reference to the. It's basically backwards. This calls everything, no matter what it is, as long as it has a reference to it. Okay, well, let me show you. So what we can do is we can do bind, just type in bind, and it should show up, and it is not showing up. Oh, here it is. So you have bind, unbind, and well, these are basically the same thing. That's weird. So you have a bind, so we'll use this bind, plug it in, and you're going to get another error. You need to have a custom event. So I'm going to make a custom event, call this event. Did I spell that right? Jeez. It is really late for me. Event, compile it, and it goes away. Now we can do another print string, basically to show you that it's working. And I don't know, I'm just going to put some random jargon in there. Press play. It doesn't work. What happened? And, okay, well, actually, that wasn't the error. I don't think I assigned this. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. The error went away. So, basically, you might be wondering, well, what happened? We called it, from event begin play. We bound to it. Why is this not firing? And this has happened to me before. Basically, what is happening is it's calling this event, but this does not have time to bind to it yet. So if we put a delay on here, press play, and it works. Basically, like I said, it doesn't have enough time to bind to it. It's really weird, but yeah, it doesn't have enough time. It's kind of annoying. I know I had this before, and I was going crazy trying to figure out why it wasn't working. Yeah, that's why. So another little tip you have there. But anyway, like I said, event dispatchers are basically different. The one calling that's going to get the event has to have a reference to the one with the event dispatcher. And you get this self, it's kind of confusing, but if you want to call this from another class, you can do that. I don't know why you do that, but you can. And that is basically it. Maybe I could give an example, but let me see. No, I don't have anything open, so I can't really show you, but basically I've used this before for like widgets, so I can call an event and all that stuff. But yeah, there you go. Hopefully you understood this. Let me know in the comment section if this helped you out, if maybe you're new. I don't really think that many people struggle with this. Maybe it's probably just me, but I hope this helped. Another thing is, I've been wanting to for a while, like kind of start up a YouTube channel. Basically, I'm doing like more like really advanced from blueprinting stuff, like dialogues, multiple option dialogue, whatever you want to call it, with just all blueprint, no outside program, no C++, none of that. So I don't know, it's not, if you guys want me, or I mean, geez, what am I saying? I would like to do that, But yeah, I mean, I would like to, but I'm not really sure if I want to. This isn't making much sense. I don't really. Like I said, I'm not very professional, but basically, yeah, would like to make videos on that, but I'm not sure if people would watch it. Not that I want to do it, to be famous, but if I make a video, I'd at least like to have one person watch it. But yeah, so let me know what you thought. Did this help you? Did this not help you? Should I get off YouTube? You know, let me know all that good stuff, and just make a comment. Hey, this helped me. Thank you, and all that stuff. So thank you for watching, and I may or may not see you in the next video.